The Mississippi State Bulldogs went 2-10 last year under head coach Jeff Lebby. It was his first year. He inherited a train wreck and didn't really do much with it, but there was nothing to be done with it. Let's be honest. The team was just very, very poor. So now it's become roster overhaul season, trying to get good players in. The one place, so they didn't necessarily roster overhaul. They bring back their starting QB from last year, and Blake Shapen, who was off to a good start last season before suffering his season-ending injury. Was it week 4 he did that?
Yeah.
So
it was against Florida.
First third of the season, he suffers a season-ending injury, and it goes from there. But thoughts on Blake Shapen?
I mean, he's the next future star of college football, per PFF. I was frustrated with him last year, and the whole Michael Van Buren thing coming in, and then the team looking better at times under Van Buren than it did under Shapen. It was a very weird feeling as a fan, and so going out of that season, Van Buren transfers out. I was very low on Shapen. Since then, I've had time to think on it. I'm a lot higher on him. The PFF being high on him is a big influence in that. I'm now to the point where I'm excited to have him as my quarterback again, because if you look at his stats in the 3 games that he played, I think he was leading the SEC in pass yards through the first 3 games. So he was a good quarterback through the first 3 games. Now that was a matchup against Western Michigan?
Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky, thank you. Was maybe the Michigan team was too. So Eastern Kentucky, Arizona State, and another
Was the Toledo loss after that?
Yes, it would have been the Toledo loss. So he was leading the SEC in pass yards up to that point against an FCS opponent, Toledo, and then a playoff team. But I'm to the point where I'm excited to see him play quarterback again after being low on him for probably the last 6 months.
I'm okay with him playing quarterback. He's not obviously last season, so he's not the future, but he's not the kind of quarterback I would necessarily want to be in the system. I think given Lebby and his ability to produce really high numbers out of quarterbacks, like even with the freshman and Michael Van Buren, he produced really great numbers last year. Bad offensive line, not great running backs. I think
he had Devon Booth last year. He led the SEC
running backs.
Okay.
A good running back in Devon Booth, sure, but not running backs. I think we can get a better quarterback, and I think we can have higher talent there, and I want that to be the best talent position we have in the entire program is at quarterback, given with Lebby as the head coach. In previous years, it would have been defensive line, it would have been linebackers, because that's kind of State's MO. It could have been running back. But I want the quarterback to be the best player on the team going forward. Shapen is not that, even with how kind of not necessarily talented this roster is. But I think he'll be fine this year. This is a bridge year for State. It's not a year I'm expecting any competition. I would love to see us get to bowl eligibility. I think that is an outside chance, though. But I think the biggest thing is building any sort of confidence with the fan base.
You got to show some sort of
specifically.
some sort of progress.
I completely understand, and I truly believe that there is confidence in the building. I know that, and that is from people I've heard in the building. That is Lebby is a good coach. He knows what he's doing. They're building something. Obviously, with what Zach Selman has done so far, we are trying. It's not like John Cohen, where we were not trying for a lot of years. But the fan base has zero belief.
Yeah.
Negative belief.
It's gotten to the...
I mean, this guy thinks we're losing to Southern.
I've got us losing to Southern, and that is very pessimistic, and I don't think that when I come to making my over-under prediction, I will have us losing to Southern in that prediction. But that's just kind of the reality of the pessimism around the program, given that we went 2-10 last year, and we're just uncompetitive in games against Arkansas and uncompetitive really against Toledo. There's a lot of pessimism when there needs to be a lot of optimism being generated, and I don't feel like that's... I think that's kind of starting to happen now, but I think that's just because people can smell college football and they're ready for football. But
so give them something to be optimistic about. That's I mean,
I mean,
I
the
think that's what JP's saying is
yeah.
like you got to give them something to be optimistic
Absolutely.
about.
I
this year.
think you've got to win more games than last year. I don't think you can go 2-10 again. I think that sets you up for a lot more pessimism because that means you probably beat Southern Miss. It means you probably beat Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, which means you started 0-2 and then beat Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, and then lost every SEC game again. So you've got to win more games than last year. Everywhere besides, quarterback is going to be irrelevant because it's going to be Shapen and then he's going to be gone. So everywhere else, you need to see improvement, especially on the D-line. You need to see improvement on the defense from the defensive play calling and the way the defense is handled because Coleman Hutzler last year let people run the ball all over us.
But did he have an option?
He didn't have the talent.
He
I
didn't
would-
have
I
the
would
talent,
argue.
but also when you don't have the talent, like our defense last year, especially our defensive line, was undersized, and that was the unfortunate reality. And I think that the issue was he was running 3 guys on the D line, and in my opinion, I feel like
That's a system.
that I know that's a system, but also you have to recognize that like when you're just gonna you have to put more guys in the box when you're getting the ball run for like 200, 250
We
yards.
didn't have anyone to put in the box.
I
so-
think it's the thing of like you might as well start if you want to run this system in the future. You might as well start implementing it because you're going to give up a crap ton of yards this year anyway.
Sven, I am Sanders. That's Jack. That's JP. What did you say? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
No, you're good. Like, if that's his system, I don't think he's just gonna call a different system year one. That's still probably going to yield much better results.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have stacked the box better. I wasn't
Yeah.
tuning into every Mississippi State game.
So you need to see improvement at every position. I mean, quarterback, you want to see good play from, but when you see improvement, like it's going to be Shapen. So if he improves, it's not relevant to the future, in my opinion. But you also, I mean, hopefully we see some garbage time Kamario Taylor or Luke Cromanhook.
I do not want Kamario Taylor to take a single snap this year.
You wouldn't want to see him play.
Maybe against Alcorn State.
Yeah,
more
and
than
Northern.
Illinois.
That's what I'm saying. Is a garbage time when we're up 48-7 with
not-
Do you not-
6 minutes in the fourth
do
quarter.
you not
I
think
would love.
Cromanhook's going to get those minutes?
Well,
those
I
snaps?
said both. I said either.
Okay.
I would love to see us be up 50-7 in the fourth quarter and see each of them get 2 drives, and because that's when that generates
Yeah, but-
excitement. Is if they can both come in and they each have a touchdown drive, that generates that excitement of like, well, now we have 2 quarterbacks next year. This is exciting.
This is pessimistic, but I do not want Kamario Taylor to put anything on tape.
That's fair.
Interesting. But like realistically, he's not going to put much on tape from the last couple minutes because he's just going to probably hand the ball off and maybe throw a couple simple passes. You're not going to get the full Kamario Taylor experience. No.
Yeah, I don't think
Sure.
that.
I mean, I wouldn't play him either, just because like I
Becau-
would be worried about something devastating happening.
Back to like how things. If he puts bad stuff on tape, then it's like, oh, he's a freshman. Like he's still raw. But if he puts good stuff on, I feel like the risk versus reward of
I think it's going
seeing.
to be there regardless. It is there regardless. I mean,
Yeah, but like
Finn just said it. Taylor is our future.
I agree. I
It's
agree
already
he's
there.
our
He hasn't
future.
even played a snap.
Yeah.
And he played at Noxubee County, Mississippi. Like he was one of maybe 3 6-foot tall guys playing out there. Like that's the truth. That is
It's a bit of a learning curve.
So I would love to see that. I'm excited to see how Lebby, an offensive coach, handles the wide receiver room this year. In my notes, I had that we're playing Moneyball. We lost Kevin Coleman and Mario Craver, our 2 most talented wide receivers from last year's team. Kevin Coleman put up 900 yards, and Mario Craver was a freshman speedster, right? And so this year, we bring in Aiden Williams from Ole Miss, who I'm excited about, former top 100 guy. Never really clicked at Ole Miss. From what I've heard, there were issues like in practice and playbook, just not clicking with the scheme. And so hoping that Lebby can figure something out and utilize him well.
I feel like that's a little worry. I feel like Ole Miss that's where wide receivers go to shine.
This is fair, but hopefully whatever was going on there, he has the talent and Lebby can unlock that talent. Anthony Evans III from Georgia, another former 4-star, never started there. The Georgia to Mississippi State pipeline has not been good for wide receiver, I do not believe. Did we send them Rara?
Y'all did send them rah-rah, and then he punched somebody.
I thought it was speeding. I
Both,
lost track.
maybe?
And then I believe we got someone from them who
There's
never
it was
panned out.
domestic violence.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So, and then
Didn't
running
punch
back.
anyone. He punched a chick,
Okay.
which is worse.
Yeah.
This is fair. Running back, I'm super excited about. Fluff Bothwell, I believe, has generated a lot of that excitement. What?
I mean, that's JP probably.
Yeah,
That's his
we'll
pick
get
right
to that.
there.
We'll get to that later, Sven. Us beating Tennessee. I'm really excited to see this running back duo. Devon Booth was very good last year in SEC play. I think he is the leading returner from SEC play. So
Well, yeah, but
of the guys
unlucky.
returning, he led the SEC in rush yards last year. Isaac Smith was insane in our college football 25 rebuild. Went on to be a good pick. Was like a lower 90s overall. We built him up after his freshman year. So a very good safety who I think is also going to play, maybe not the star, but he will play safety. He'll play like slot cornerback. He'll play some linebacker. He will be all over the field. He's that kind of talent. And we get to pair him with Tony Mitchell, who's going to start, who I think can also, our secondary, or at least our safeties, are much more flexible and maneuverable than they have ever been with Tony Mitchell and Isaac Smith. We still have Lanier here, and then we also have the Old Dominion transfer, whose name I cannot remember, but I'm excited to see him play. And then we have Braylon Burnside, Stonka. I hope that he redshirts, just given he made the transition from offense to defense. I would love to see him take a year to like get comfortable with that and then play there next year. But
I feel like at some point you got to play in games to get comfortable with it.
that's true. But
If you're gonna be bad this year, might as well.
yeah.
If you think you have something there, that is.
So I don't want to say I'm not optimistic. I'm not.
I mean, you just did a lot of sunshine pumping.
I
That's all I'm
did
gonna
so
say.
much sunshine pumping, and I don't know how to be. I am pessimistic. Like I
Just
would.
pull up those defensive numbers. I'll read them off to
Yeah,
you real
just
quick.
read me the defensive numbers, and I'll just shed a tear.
The defense was disastrous last year. Gave up 471 yards per game, good for 127th in FBS. Allowed 225 rushing yards per game, good for 130th in the FBS. Allowed 245 passing yards per game. Congrats. Only
Top
good,
100.
top 100, 99th in FBS. Allowed 36 points per game, 123rd in FBS. And allowed 10 sacks per game.
We got 10
Yes.
sacks.
Y'all got 10 sacks?
We sacked the opposing quarterbacks 10
Oh,
times.
my bad.
We have recorded 10 sacks.
Well,
last
that's pretty
year.
tough. And I'm just
0.7 sacks a game.
y'all had the second worst power 4 defense. Behind
Purdue, yeah.
Purdue's was terrible.
There are 134 teams last year in the FBS, and we were in the 120s and 130s in 3 out of those 5 stats.
And
No,
so
4 out of 5.
it's a thing of like the question you have listed is can the defense improve? It's like sure, but even to like expect this to become an average to a like slightly above average unit is like a crazy leap.
Yeah, I will say this: the defensive line looks very different this year from last
Sure.
year. And part of last year was we had some injuries, but we hit the portal and brought in a guy from Texas, I believe, a guy from NC State, Red Hibbler, a 4-star transfer to play edge.
Got a guy from A&M.
A guy from A&M. We brought in a big guy from Coastal Carolina. Is that right? I believe an interior defender. So we have upgraded the defensive line. We've upgraded basically the entire defense, except for maybe at cornerback, where losing Bryce Pollock was a sad loss to Texas Tech. But the linebackers, we upgraded. We have a very deep linebacker core now, a mix of transfers, and then we also still have Tyler Lockhart in the building, a former 4-star linebacker who I am very glad that he's still here. I am pumping a lot of sunshine, but the defense has to improve for any of this sunshine to peek through the clouds. Because the offense, I think the offense is going to be good. It may not be great, but the offense is going to be above average probably.
The offense will have good games and will have some good plays. Sven kind of just mentioned in the chat. I mean, it's a Jeff Lebby offense. Y'all's offense put up good numbers last year.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I trust the O-line to be great. Y'all did change it a lot. It's a lot bigger of an O-line. Y'all have the 4th biggest O-line by average weight in the country. But that doesn't mean you're going to be great.
No.
Y'all didn't necessarily bring in guys that graded out well in the transfer portal other places. But, I don't think that's another position that's just going to like magically become great. And so you may run into some games where that's a big issue.
Yeah. Tucker, I have not been wishing Lockhart into the portal, but there is the reality that when someone's mom makes them go to a college, there's a decent chance that once they're old enough to like transfer of their and their mom, because he was 17, so his mom had to sign his letter of intent. If your mom makes you go to a college, there's a very good possibility that once you are no longer 17, you'll transfer.
Yeah,
So
but here's the thing of like, if his mom's that involved, his mom is probably still very involved.
that's fair.
So I guess he could go against his mother's wishes now because he's older, but like,
Yeah.
pretty close relationship there, it seems.
Yeah. And I want him to stay, and I want them. And that's kind of what happened with Stonka, too, I believe, is Stonka's mother was involved and still is involved. Like, I love seeing her on Twitter. She's so fun on Twitter. And the excitement that she brings, electric. But same situation, and Stonka's still here. So I'm glad Tyler Lockhart is still here, and I hope that he develops into a very good linebacker. But yes, I have been concerned about him leaving ever since he flipped from Ole Miss at like 9 o'clock that night.
JP, you've been very quiet over there. What are your thoughts on the Sunshine, the improvements? Like, I don't know, just what's going through your head over there?
It's hard to be worse.
True.
Yes.
I agree with Tucker. If we double our wins, which not a lot of people can say they double their wins from season to season, then it was a great season.
I agree.
Then it was a huge step in the forward direction. The biggest thing is we just need consistency, specifically in our core people, and that not just quarterback, but like head coach, athletic director, and even president. Like Keenum needs to continue to be president. Like we just need to continue on this path because we've seen Chris Jans, for example, with that consistency improvement year over year, and Chris Jans has raised the baseline for that basketball
For
program.
sure.
Lebby needs to just consistently be the head coach because what happened was tragic, but the discourse from that has set the program back half a decade, arguably. We were a almost always kind of ranked football
I think it's
team.
set us back farther than that.
We
Probably.
were obviously going
To the
make
Stone Ages.
going to make the bowl game or make a bowl game pretty much every single year. We were never really going to compete against Alabama or Georgia, but who does? But we were going to be good. We weren't going to lose any. Obviously, weren't going to lose to a MAC school. So I think, 4 wins, double the wins. Lebby's still the head coach. You try to keep more guys in house. Don't have to bring in so many damn transfers because we had. I think the number was like 70 plus last year, and I still think this year was.
There's a lot.
It was a lot, and we're going to be starting a lot, almost starting half the team are transfers as well. So I just want to see consistency in the building because I think that'll help a ton with the fan base, knowing that we're going in a consistent direction.
Sure.
Because change is hard. I got a question for you, though, Jack.
Sure.
Will it be game day when Mississippi State and Texas A&M are 5-0 going into Week 6? The other games that week are Texas, Florida. That would be the big one in contention, and then Boise State, Notre Dame.
No, I think even if we were both 5-0, Texas, Florida would get it.
Yeah, because we'll have beat Arizona State, and then people will claim, well, Arizona State took a step back last year. What they did last year isn't sustainable.
They won't claim that.
I think that if we Texas, Florida's going to get that because it's.
We may. I'm just saying, State fans themselves. That's how they're convincing themselves into an Arizona State win. Is saying that Arizona State is taking a step back.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if y'all do win that game, the spin zone to being like,
Yeah.
we just beat one of the best teams. It's like,
Playoff
all right.
team, Arizona State,
It-
Big 12 favorite.
I don't think we would get game day. That would be sick because we would be there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Night game.
I've experienced the game
I think
day.
we'd
in
get
Aggie
Chris
Park.
Fowler
It'd be
and
pretty great.
Kirk Herbstreit.
I think we would too. Yeah, if that happens, shout out whoever foresaw it and gave us a night game because that would be fun.
Is it a night game?
It is. It's
Yeah.
A&M's one SEC night game
All
at
right.
home is against Mississippi State, which is kind of tough for us. We couldn't get it for Florida State South Carolina or something like that. We got it for Mississippi State.
JP, can you walk me through? You have claimed we are going to beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through that thought process?
Yeah. It is, for one, when I originally said we might beat Tennessee, it was due to a scheduling thing and the fact that we were going to be playing 2 very easy teams, 2 warm-ups, kind of. Sure, it may not be.
I'm about to
But
say.
the offense would be humming. we'd come into that game really, really hot, and Tennessee would have played Georgia already in week 3, and Georgia was probably going to blow them out. And then they'll play UAB, and then they would have a bye week, and they wouldn't really be thinking too much about that game. And then Nico Amaliava transferring was a large part in that as well. And now I think it's in large part, I don't like Joey Aguilar's tape whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like what's going on in the Tennessee building. And I just think that we're going to be in a spot where if we're going to get an SEC win, it's that or Arkansas.
Sure.
I think that's the argument there for us. And I think we'll get it done. I think we're going to win that game. We're going to win a game we're not supposed to this year. I do not see a world where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Y'all are actually good enough this year to do that, unlike
Because
last year.
the offense, I think, could carry us for a game. We just score 35 and hold the other team to 31. While we haven't been excellent at home in recent history, it is in large part because we've never had. If you never have great teams, how are you going to be good at home? And I think the home field environment plays a factor. And so, for me, that is a game where we're going to have the biggest home crowd.
Is Tennessee
Outside of the Egg Bowl.
Yeah.
In Arizona State. And especially if we beat Arizona State, that we'll sell out the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to have a big crowd of us for the Texas game.
Nope.
I don't think we're going to have a big crowd of us for the Georgia game.
Nope.
So that Tennessee game, Tennessee's probably going to travel. They're also apparently trying to do one of the stripes or checkerboard out our stadium kind of thing.
That's crazy.
That's disrespectful.
That's on the Tennessee.
It doesn't
forums
work.
right now.
People have tried to do it for a lot of other games.
They try to do it to Vandy, and if you can't really do it to Vandy,
Yeah.
you're not going to do it to State.
It doesn't happen. Best case, see, I'm starting to hype myself up and think that we could start 5-0. And
Well,
it's just,
it definitely could happen.
I think the
but
ceiling for us is 6-6.
yes, that's the ceiling.
The ceiling for us is 6-6.
It would start 5-0, and then for me, beating Arkansas,
or even 4-0, and then you beat Arkansas, and then maybe you Ole Miss crowd
Yes.
the Ole Miss game could be a coin flip.
Yeah, that's why I've already taken us to cover the spread, which was 13.5. I think that spread is atrocious because I think that spread's going to be a lot closer. I think that spread's going to be a touchdown come that point in the season because I think we'll be better than Vegas thinks we are, and I also think Ole Miss will be worse than Vegas thinks they are. The path to hitting the over on the win total, which I would bet. I think we're going to go 4-8 with a win over Tennessee and then wins on our 3 other out-of-conference games. Although I'd trade the Arizona State win for the Tennessee win.
Gotcha.
To start 4-0.
Yeah.
I would trade that. I think
the
path to that is in the first 5 weeks, and then outside of that, good luck.
Try and beat Arkansas.
How many? What that'd be our first top 25 win in 2 years?
Well, obviously we didn't have one last year.
And I don't think we had one the year before under our net because we were 3-9.
Yes, so we did not have one that year
So
either.
our first in 3 years or something like that. It'd be
our first since the bowl game win against Illinois.
yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take the over 2 at 4-8. I mean,
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
you're welcome. I kind of agree. Y'all are not so bad this year that you can't pick off a team as a dog.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where we lose those 3: Southern Miss, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois. I do not see a world where we lose any of those games. I'm not pessimistic in that way at all, which some of us are. I know the fan base certainly is. Northern Illinois beat
Not all
beat
of them.
Notre
Some
Dame
of us
last
have us
year,
winning 10 games.
which means Northern Illinois was also better than Texas A&M. You
True.
could make that argument, but this is this year now.
So if we beat Northern Illinois, can we just not play the A&M game? Can
Well,
we
it's a
just
new
count that as
year.
a
No,
win?
it's a new year. It's a
So-
completely different team.
Unfortunate. Sorry.
So, I think then, like Jack is saying, we're going to win one of those games. I hope.
That's what needs to happen. You need to give the fans a win to really cheer about because Southern Miss, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, those aren't wins to cheer about.
That's the expectation. That's the bare minimum.
Yes, correct.
So if you can get a top 25 win or even an SEC win at Arkansas, to get to the over, to get to 4 wins, double your win total, I'll take the over. I don't think I have us losing to Southern Miss anymore, just from like looking at this roster and like actually like
Getting excited.
getting excited. I'm not going to pick us to lose to Southern Miss anymore. Which if they end up beating us and I sold my take that I could have clipped and posted, that's going to be really sad. But I'm not going to pick us to lose to Southern Miss. I am sure we could start 5-0. I'll take the over. Yeah.
All right.